One of the drawbacks to traditional PA behavior is that you always end up redoing a bunch of work because the whole state of the system can't be saved. That's because all the speakers aren't networked with the mixer that knows what's going on. So if you're a touring band and you play the same club every month and you can't save the state of your system, you're always going to be reinventing the wheel every time you come back. A better idea would be to have a system that's smart enough to know the state of every component in it. Every monitor send, monitor EQ, monitor level, mains, main EQ, channel effects, channel EQ, mic pre-trims, everything. So when you're done with the gig, save the state where you left it, and the next time you come back to that same club, recall that state and you're ready to go. The more times you play the venue, the better it should get because you'll continue to tweak. All right, so you've done all the hard stuff. You've got the EQs where you want them, you've got your effects levels where you want them, the monitor levels are good. It's time to save your work so you can recall it later. So the M20d actually has two sets of files to help you do that. We have what's called setups and we have scenes. A setup file is simply the hardware setup of the console. It determines where channels are connected, and it determines which DSP algorithms are in use on those channel strips. A scene file is simply a different set of parameters, or settings, based upon the same setup. So different songs by the same band would be under the scene files, and different setups for different bands would be under the setup files. So let me show you how that works. So if you hit the setup window, which is where I am right now, you can see I've got a jazz band. So I've got an archtop guitar, drums, piano, and upright bass set up on stage. If I want to change that to a hard rock quartet, I can simply go to the setups menu on the upper left-hand corner, and now you can see which setups I have loaded in the console at the moment. And if I go to quartet setup and select it, it will completely reconfigure the console for me. It'll change icons, change DSP algorithms, change everything, and get me the saved setup that I made for a heavier kind of a band. So now you can see you've got electric guitar, bass guitar, drums, vocals, 4 different floor wedges, and also more cowbell, because that's really important. And you can also tell right now that the drums are muted because it's a ballad for this setup. If you want to go to a different scene, you can go to the Perform page. Now you can see my mute buttons, so I've got the drums muted, and also I've got them grouped, so the drums are all grouped to one fader so that I can raise and lower all 5 drum channels with one fader, which is nice. And they're muted right now because it's a ballad, so if I want to basically change to a different song, I hit the Scenes button, which is in the same place. And now you can see that I have 2 songs loaded. I have Shocker and Stomachache. So Shocker, I can just reload. And now you can see that it basically changes the mute state. And if I wanted to change effects levels or reverbs or delays or EQs or any of that kind of stuff, as long as the setup didn't change, I can do whatever I want inside of a scene. So that's how it works. Between the setup and the scene files, you can store all sorts of different musical combinations and also store multiple songs as well.